Hey, this is my playthrough of Dear Esther, the Landmark Edition released in 2017. Pretty old game. Full gameplay. I do get lost a few times. It's kind of embarrassing, but if you like it, if you like the commentary, I'm going to be playing these on stream a lot more, especially as we get to the summer, and I'll be posting the full playthroughs here. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and stick around to see more. Alright, right into it. Alright, now let's get into it.
I have not seen anything about this game yet, but it looks very fun. Look, I like short story-based games. No, I cry when they call me bad. That's real shit. I don't want director's commentary.
Dear Esther, I've lost track of how long I've been here, and how many visits I have made overall.
Don't talk to them. I talk
Certainly
sometimes.
The landmarks are now so familiar to me
Depending
that
on
I
my
have to
mood.
remind myself to actually see the forms and shapes in front of me. I could stumble blind across these rocks, the edges of these precipices, without fear of missing my step and plummeting down to sea. Besides, I've always considered that if one is to fall, it is critical to keep one's eyes firmly open.
Oh wait, this is so cool. Graphics and the way things look. Phasmophobia. Looks like Phasmophobia. But this is just such a cool little immersive experience. So far, I'm already kind of hooked. I want to see the view. I don't think I can sprint. I don't, simply because I don't know how, but I should. I should multi-stream to Twitch. Also, if I do, I don't know how I view the chats for both. If I'm gonna be honest. Maybe I take a minute and I just learn how to do that right now. Feels like that was not supposed to be intended.
Donnelly reported the legend of the
never mind.
hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
So I think I just explored the area, and it's like the letter that he sent to whoever Esther is. Okay, so that area for me to do that was intended to cross that. I'm probably gonna look up how to multi-stream here soon, one of these days. Shortcut. Call me a speedrunner. Get me in the 2 Rubik's Cubes. No, the 2 cigarettes, 2 beers, and a Rubik's Cube speedrun. I'll eat that shit up. Yeah, so I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. Twitch has a 6,000 max bitrate. Does not mean anything to me. Every time I stream, I get a warning that my current bitrate at 5,243.07 is like is not enough or something, and I don't know what it means or how to fix it. So, but when I look at it on, because I have it up on my second monitor, so that way like next
Those
to the
islands
chat,
in the distance, I am sure, are nothing more than relics of another time.
so
Sleeping
that way I
giants,
can
somnambulist gods
see
laid
if it
down
looks
for
good
a
or not, and
final
it looks
dream.
fine.
I wash the sand from my lips
Even while
and grip
running a
my
game, it
wrist ever
doesn't
more tightly. My
have a
shaking
lot
arms
of
will not support my fading diaries.
lag or anything. Wait, this music is peak. There was a staircase I kind of want to explore back there, but I'll get to it later. Oh, it's the perfect ratio. Sonic has one of these on him. Just search Restream. It's really that easy. You just download like Restream, and you stream to Restream, and it streams everywhere else.
Ocean, as shallow and unoccupied as this bay, a listless wreck without identification. My rocks are these bones, and a careful fence to keep the precipice at bay. Shot through me caves, my forehead a mount. This aerial will transmit into me so. All overexposed, the nervous system, where Donnelly's boots and yours and mine still trample. I will carry a torch for you. I will leave it at the foot of my headstone. You will need it for the tunnels that carry me under.
Oh? So, is the main character gonna die? I also don't think... Oh! Okay, so you just stream to the website, and the website streams to other places. That's really cool. That's actually really cool. I thought it was going to be way more complex than that, which is why I've been putting it off. That's it. That's really cool. Because that and chat overlay are on my list of things to do. Like, so that way on the screen there's a chat overlay, but I really just didn't know how to do that. So, yeah, that's really cool. I will definitely look into that. The website gives you a stream key. Okay. Which is the same thing I use for here and the same... Okay. Okay, I am confused. Not on the website giving me a stream key, but what I'm supposed to do now? I went that way. I've already been up here. Looks like I'm supposed to go up there. Oh. This time I fell. I used it. It's easy. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely look at it. This is really pretty. I do wish I moved faster. Because I feel like I've been everywhere I need to go. And I've missed something. But it's going to take forever to find it if I can't move faster. Okay, now my options seem like they are look up a guide or struggle. And technically I have till 7, so I do want to get dinner before that. Yeah, oh thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. You go have a nice time trying to rank up It's hell out there, brother. I wish the best to you. I love getting to do this. No. Okay. So yeah, it leads to there. I should have, oh. Maybe I can do this again? No. So my inability to be smart has cost me greatly. Has cost me greatly. Yeah, because I definitely didn't intend for you to see that on the way out there. And I wanted you to see it on the way back. Alright, there we go. Yes! We're winners. This is a winner. We got this. Another game that's on my list of story games to play is Outer Wilds, which I heard is really good. But I was trying to play.
A wonderful sight. The moon cresting the junction between the cliff path and the stone circle. It cast a shadow of the ridge across the beach, all the world as if you had signed your name in untidy handwriting.
Oh, that's so pretty. Such, like, I want to see it so bad because the way he describes it is so pretty. But Outer Wilds, I've been trying to play it with the controllers, not with controllers, with keyboard and mouse. And then every time somebody says that I need to play it, I say, yeah, I gave up. It was too hard. I couldn't figure out how to fly it. They went, oh, what?
When
I said,
someone
I know.
had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Oh? And I know, okay, back to Outer Wilds. I know it's, you're meant to die a lot. You're meant to, like, it's a learning curve. But it was just so hard on keyboard, and they kept telling me that you need to play it on controller. So as soon as I replace my Xbox controller, I will be able to do that.
I quote directly, a motley lot with little to recommend them. I have now spent 3 days in their company. That is, I fear, enough for any man not born amongst them. Despite their tedious inclination to quote scripture, they seem to me the most godforsaken of all the inhabitants of the Outer Isles. Indeed, in this case, the very gravity of that term, forsaken by God, seems to find its very apex. It appears to me that Donnelly, too, found those who wander this shoreline to be adrift from any chance of redemption. Did he include himself in that, I wonder?
Wait, this is so interesting. This is more story than I ever thought it was gonna be when it started. I thought it was just gonna be a simple letter. I feel like this is gonna leave me confused, though. This is gonna be like a metaphor or something. And, I'm not always the best with metaphors.
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life. I would leave you presents outside your retreat in this interim space between cliff and beach. I would leave you loaves and fishes, but the fish stocks have been depleted and I've run out of bread. I would row you back to your homeland in a bottomless boat, but I fear we would both be driven mad by the chatter of the sea creatures.
Chemical formulas? Wait, this is such a cool game. The music is so good.
I dreamt I stood in the center of the sun, and the solar radiation cooked my heart from the inside. My teeth will curl and my fingernails fall off into my pockets like loose change. If I could stomach, I'd eat, but all I seem capable of is salt water. Were the livestock still here, I could turn feral and gorge. I'm as emaciated as a body on a slab, opened up for a premature source of death. I've rowed to this island in a heart without a bottom, all the bacteria of my gut rising up to sing to me.
Chemistry? I mean, those were chemicals too. That was chemistry on the walls of the cave, but I didn't think this game had to do with chemistry. What is this, Breaking Bad? Sorry, trying to lighten up the mood. A game about guy going to die on an island. Oh. Oh,
Dear
finished the
Esther,
first chapter.
I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services, but although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
What does that mean? He's looking for something? Are we him? I always used to assume so, but after playing Edith Finch,
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
how else could new hermits have arrived? Eat nor drink. Did he... Neither did he eat nor drink. It's and neither did he eat or drink. What does that mean? What? Wait, there's so much in this game for what is basically a glorified walking simulator.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Oh, Esther is dead. Killed in a drunk driving accident.
I've begun to climb, away from the sea and towards the center. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore.
At least the music is a little more hopeful. It's another game about grief, isn't it? It's gonna make me cry.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
My heart is landfill. These false dawns waking into the still never light. I sweat for you in the small hours and wrap my blankets into a mass. I have always heard the waves break on these lost shores, always the gulls forgotten. I can lift this bottle to my ear, and all there ever is for me is this Hebridean music.
It's so beautiful. More chemistry? More of those weird symbols. Someone get the theorists in here. Game theory. It's not just a theory. It's a game theory. Thanks for watching. We were over there. And there is more I can get to, I just... No, I wasn't here. Never mind.
Jakobsen's ribcage, they told Donnelly, was deformed, the result of some birth defect or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird.
Wow. Such pretty language to describe everything. Let's get on through. This boat's fully decayed.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Oh. So yeah, he plans on dying out here. A history book, some maps, a letter that I can't read. Or all the same book. And the audio is so good. I don't know if it'll get preserved through YouTube, but like if you're listening to it and the surround, wow. Is this where he broke his femur?
Did Jakobsen crawl this far? Can I identify the scratches his nails ruined into the rocks? Am I following him cell for cell, inch for inch? Why did he turn back on himself and not carry through to the ascent?
There's candles down here, which means someone was here. Jakobsen didn't carry through? I'm gonna beat this in no time, honestly. I'm pretty sure it's only 4 parts.
They'd stop the traffic back as far as the Sandford Junction and come up the hard shoulder like radio signals from another star. It took 21 minutes for them to arrive. I watched Paul time it to the second on his watch.
This is an electrical diagram. Those squiggly things are resistors. Wait, I did these once. Shoot, I don't remember what any of this means. I haven't been in engineering in so long. Well, this is the same thing, yeah. Resistors, capacitors. That's more like cell growth. That's just splatter. More the same electrical diagram in a bunch of places. More chemistry. Everything overlapping. See, as straightforward as what I'm being told is, there's so much. So much on the walls to try and figure out. I don't know if there's a breath mechanic. God, they made a world that makes me want to explore every inch of it. And that's very cool. Yeah. This reminds me of Silk Song, of Lifeblood and Silk Song. Not Lifeblood, Lifeblood and Hollow Knight. Because I can't remember what they call it in Silk Song, because I always called it Lifeblood. We just keep ascending through the caves up the mountains. Oh, more lights. This would make such a cool hiking trail. Really dangerous, but cool. Oh, that was more diagrams and medical stuff.
I am traveling through my own body, following the line of infection from the shattered femur towards the heart. I swallow fistfuls of painkillers to stay lucid. In my delirium, I see the twin lights of the moon and the Ariel shining to me through the rocks.
There's more diagrams all over the place. There's gotta be something to it. Two carbon, one oxygen, and looks like four hydrogen. Don't know what that makes, but this very pretty. Those glowing crystals. Did I break my femur because I'm the one, not because did I break my femur because I jumped off the cliff there as like a speedrun trick before I got to the cave? There's no way. There's no way that's the reason. Whoa. This way doesn't lead up, so I'm gonna go here first, because the goal is to go up.
I will hold the hand you offered to me, from the summit down to this well, into the dark waters where the small flowers creep for the sun. Headlights are reflected in your retinas, moonlit in the shadow of the crematorium chimney.
There we go. Took me a while to figure out how to get out, I guess. Behold Damascus. Behold, Damascus is taken, and he neither eats nor sleeps. Away from being a city. Oh wait, behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall be a heap, a something heap. This is so cool. Like, obviously, there was another way to go, too. This makes me think maybe I should play that again. Just to see what's the other way. Acts 22 and 22 which is a Bible verse. I'm in a memory? Okay, I died from being underwater too long. No, it was a memory. Okay. Oh, the painkillers are wearing off, and I'm even slower now. Finish chapter the caves. I don't think I've finished the caves. I think I'm still in them. Never mind. God, what pretty music.
I sat here and watched two jets carve parallel white lines into the sky. They charted their course, and I followed them for 21 minutes until they turned off near Sanford and were lost. If I were a gull, I would abandon my nest and join them. I would starve my brain of oxygen and suffer delusions of transcendence. I would tear the bottom from my boat and sail across the motorways until I reached this island once again.
Is that a person?
I returned home with a pocket full of stolen ash. Half of it fell out of my coat and vanished into the car's upholstery. But the rest I carefully stowed away in a box I kept in a drawer by the side of my bed. It was never intended as a meaningful act, but over the years it became a kind of talisman. I'd sit still, quite still for hours, just holding the diminishing powder in my palm and noting its smoothness. In time, we will all be worn down into granules, washed into the sea and dispersed.
More chemicals.
There were chemical diagrams on the posters on the walls on the waiting room. It seemed appropriate at the time. Still life abstractions of the processes which had already begun to break down your nerves and your muscles in the next room.
Him.
I crammed diazepam as I once crammed for chemistry examinations. I am revising my options for a long and happy life.
So that's the point of chemistry. All light from a light from heaven shone around him, and he neither ate nor slept.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Oh. On a sudden, a light from the heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground. Those are eggs. I was trying to see if I could interact with them.
Come back.
Oh, okay. I thought that might be what I was supposed to do. So I guess I just went the wrong way. What was that? There's the lines. There's also that carved into it. I feel like I missed this tunnel before. There's nothing new there. I thought we were making an ascent. So I guess I went to the beach and I shouldn't have? I got more story though, which is not something I'll ever complain about. Is this where I said I patched myself up? What's that? Could have sworn I walked through this way the first time. The accident. Okay, so that's definitely not it. We can keep going. There's a light over here, which means this has to be at least somewhat important. Could be dialogue. That would make it all worth it. Could be nothing. Nothing but a pretty view. Do I have to follow these symbols? No. Okay. Now it's pretty and all, and I was super into it until I got lost. Okay. Yep. No, I was just lost for like 20 minutes not finding the staircase that was right in front of me the whole fucking time. God damn, dude. I'm not telling I've got a shallow heart, I'm not that mean. Not that mean.
When Paul keeled over dead on the road to Damascus, they resuscitated him by hitting him in the chest with stones gathered by the roadside. He was lifeless for 21 minutes, certainly long enough for the oxygen levels in his brain to have decreased and caused hallucinations and delusions of transcendence. I'm running out of painkillers, and the moon has become almost unbearably bright. I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
And he was proceeding on his journey. Wow. I'm almost out of painkillers. The hallucination thing, it worked.
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
And he was 3 days without sight. He was 3 days without sight. He didn't eat or drink. Who is this he? Can't be me, because it's not... I'm not painting it. It's already here.
Returning to my car afterwards, hands still shaking, and a head split open by the impact. Goodbye to tearful aunts and traumatized uncles. Goodbye to the phenomenal. Goodbye to the tangible. Goodbye Wolverhampton. Goodbye Sanford. Goodbye Cromer. Goodbye Damascus. This cliff path is slippery in the dew. It is hard to climb with such an infection. I must carve out the bad flesh and sling it from the aerial. I must become infused with the very air.
And it came to pass that as I made my journey, and it came to pass that as I made my journey and was oh, I couldn't read it. Well, noon, not moon. Sorry, bud. Oh, it's a long one. From heaven. Oh, it's all of them together.
Blind with panic, deaf with the roar of the caged traffic, heart stopped on the road to Damascus, Paul sat at the roadside hunched up like a gull, like a bloody gull. As useless and as doomed as a syphilitic cartographer, a dying goatherd, an infected leg, a kidney stone, blocking the traffic bound for Sanford and Exeter. He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all. All his roads and his tunnels and his paths led inevitably to this moment of impact. This is not a recorded natural condition. He should not be sat there with his chemicals and his circuit diagrams. He should not be sat there at all.
Oh.
Run out of places to climb. I will abandon this body and take to the air. Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We have always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
Well, that was very pretty.
Come back.
And, it's quite sad. It's a good game. And that's pretty much what I'm gonna call it here, because, wow, I really enjoyed this one. Yeah. I will see you guys later. Let me go ahead and do that. That was a really good game. I would love to play more of these. And you'll probably see this on the YouTube if you've watched the whole supercut or whatever I decide to edit with this. So if you want to see more of them, let me know. Like the video, subscribe, because I will be playing more games like that. And yeah, well, maybe not just like that. Maybe some happier ones too. But I'll see you on the next one. Wet Willy.